Well, welcome back to segment 2 of Susan and Sammy S2 Adventures.
Taking on the world.
Taking
No, I'm
on the
kidding.
world. And just like, we want to encourage people just to be your authentic self. And no matter what shape or form that is, just be you, enjoy you, and know that you are loved. So, but what we wanted to come back to right away is the fact that it takes a lot for someone to leave their country. There's always like a yummy story behind that, or a devastating story, and something in between. But I know that Susan's kind of got a juicy one, so I'm going to turn it over. So what was it? So Susan, I understand that you'd already left South Africa.
I left South Africa. So let's backtrack. I studied and went to hotel school.
What?
I know I studied. Oh my word.
Can you
So-
read?
Kind of.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. No, so I went to hotel school where, and then I decided I wanted to become a chef, and so that's where my whole chef show, Delicious, comes in as well.
Which is
Everything's
amazing.
kind of tied in, and went to chef school. Was top 5 students. I made the top 5.
Yay.
Yes. And then got sent to the UK, where I worked as a chef in 5-star hotels. Well, actually, one was opposite Buckingham Palace, and worked there for 2 years, and then went on to work in a Michelin star restaurant in Kent. And
I just tell people that you're a Michelin chef. Like, is that?
well, I
that's
was
how-
never a head chef in a Michelin star restaurant.
I just tell people.
So
that you
I
are.
was one of the grunt workers, you know. So I
Yeah.
was a commie chef, and then worked at my way up, but then moved back to South Africa and realized, you know, the prospects in South Africa were not that great, and decided I wanted to sail around the world. I thought, I had a boyfriend at the time. Wouldn't this be great? Maybe we could, you know, stick in the BVIs and bounce from yacht to yacht.
BVIs. Elaborate.
British Virgin Islands.
Oh, okay.
Yes, British Virgin Islands.
Yeah, look that up, people.
So got on a yacht. Well, first studied and became a deckhand. Got on a yacht and sailed. And when I was in the British Virgin Islands, actually a hurricane hit. So I was forced to leave Tortola. And I was like, well, I'm not going back to South Africa. So I
Tortola,
think
where's that?
in the British Virgin Islands.
Okay, all right. Look that up, people.
There's lots of little islands in the British Virgin Islands. So I came over to the United States. Actually, my boyfriend at the time had a sister that was living in Colorado that then moved to Utah, Salt Lake City. And I had never heard of Salt Lake City, Utah before. And I said, fine, let's just buy tickets and go over. So we did. And my relationship was deteriorating fast.
And you're putting that very kindly. I know the juiciest story. We may have to give her more Prosecco next time, and she'll divulge more juicy details.
Well, so we came over here, and I ended up staying, and I met a guy and I fell in love, and then that's kind of what spurred me on. So for me, it was really by default getting here. I had not planned on landing up in the United States, but a hurricane brought me here.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a hurricane that brought me to the United States.
Well, that's kind of
Yeah.
amazing. I got
And now my
knocked up.
life is like a hurricane, but I like a good hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I think it was like, no, I wouldn't say that mine was like I got knocked up, but I did get knocked up, but I was happy about it.
Yeah,
But
tell
then
me
had
your
to-
story. Tell me your story.
No, so I actually already came to Salt Lake when I was 19 as a nanny, and it was actually, I was the nanny to the lawyer who headed up gun control for Australia. And that was
it like one of those All Pay America things?
no, it was like a Tasmanian attorney, like when the Port Arthur massacre happened, that brought us, anyway, it ended up here. It was a ski trip, and there was something within me that I just knew that this felt right, and that I was like, I just said to the mother, I was like, I'm gonna live here one day. And she's like, you should. And that was when I was 19, and then I ended up
Can
marrying
I
an
just pause
American.
you for a second?
Yes.
You sound like one of the pioneers. This is the place.
I know, this is the place for me.
This is the place.
Yeah, well, this was my, but wouldn't you, but Salt Lake is actually incredibly beautiful, and there was a kind of a, this is the place kind of moment. Like, not in a religious. Maybe I did have a religious epiphany.
Epiphany, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Don't become
Kind of
Mormon
like
tomorrow.
I
Please,
just
I like
I
you
don't.
how
I
you
think
are.
I don't think they would have me, even if I wanted to.
No, if you walked into a temple, it would probably burn down.
No, like it'd be like acid pouring on my body, and like you'd have to drag me out. But it's been very good and safe, and yeah, and then I ended up having babies with an American, and now we're here. But that's got to be like another total episode, like of what it's like when you find yourself so far from home. Now you've had children with like an American, and it's very, very difficult to get kids out without, facing kidnapping charges.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
So we're stuck, but we're happily stuck.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, going through this whole pandemic, there is probably not a better place to live than in Utah right now.
Yeah.
For me, I am blessed in so many ways, but I have a cabin up in the mountains, and so I can get away from the face mask thing and just, go and chill out every weekend. And it is just absolutely beautiful and spectacular up there. Honestly, if I'm going to compare it to the ocean, because I'm such an ocean girl, if you're in the mountains, it is a close second. It might even be tie with the ocean.
I think that also comes like with a perspective of like with life, you can, lemons to lemonade, and that's a great story, right? Like, and I feel like both of us have done very, very well, rather than getting bitter or like, shit, I should have thought life would be like this, or life should be like this. You go like,
this is where I am, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Yeah. It is like a be here now, and then trusting that where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be, and maybe not like monetarily where you want to be or in relationships or whatever, but like there's always like a learning story. And I love that about life, but you need to dive into it, because I've been in like the hardest section of my life. I've been like, what the beep is this all about?
Yeah. And should you go back to Australia? This has been a question that's come up so many times. Like, what is this about? Should I go back to Australia? But I think you have to stay here with me. You can't leave me. Like, there's just no way.
And you do have a cabin.
And as I said,
I like that about you.
In the future, we're going to live together, and you're going to be my wife eventually. And then I'm going to
upgrade from sister to wife, and there's nothing weird about that, because we do not judge on this show.
And then I'm going to push you off the treehouse.
Oh, my damn Jazzy. No.
I'll put you out of your misery.
Okay. No, but that's a tricky one, and you are 100% here. You like have got like your two little feet.
Yeah,
here,
planted in the ground.
Planted some roots, and then I'm still got like 1 foot here, 1 foot in Australia, and I keep doing that. But honestly, if I wanted to call myself out, it's an excuse. For not digging in and making roots.
Yeah. Well, I think that the biggest thing for me was, okay, don't make excuses. This is your life. After divorce comes amazement and like the best part of your life. So for anyone that is going through a divorce, I promise you life will get so much better long term for you, because if you're going through the motions of a divorce, you're clearly in a toxic relationship of sorts. And so, your life is going to get better, and there's no point feeling stuck in anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, but for people going through a divorce, you may want to kill yourself for the first few years. But
but
after that, there is life
better.
after divorce.
Yeah,
and we're here for you.
Better. We are here for you. Just message me.
Yeah. Woo! And so I think that's perfect. Yeah. And you're perfect.
No, I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. Look,
I know, I was just making that up.
Yeah, I totally have my flaws. And you know it. But I'm good with my flaws, and that's the whole part of acceptance, right?
Yes.
You've got to accept. You can't be 100% perfect all the time. You're going to have 40% good and 60% bad, and I'm glad I could do the math on that one.
Yes, look at you go.
Look what I can do.
Look what you can do.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for joining us
Yeah,
on
thanks for
our
joining us.
very first podcast episode of the S2 Adventures.
Yes, we love you and keep safe in these dark, dark, dark times. We know everyone's going through an array of turmoil, good times, bad times, and we're here for you, and we'd love to hear your comments as well. So
That's
please.
the most emotional thing I've ever heard her say in her life. Okay, so let's end with that. Thanks, guys.
Okay. I always end with a kiss. I always end with a kiss.
Yeah.